Health and Well-Being by Viv Trader. You will hear various experts share their knowledge within health and well-being. This podcast is based on facts and science. With knowledge, you can raise your awareness so that you can make better conscious decisions in your everyday life. Decisions that will benefit your health, the planet, and our future generations.
So in today's episode, I have the real pleasure of inviting the Queen, Bitten Jonsson. Hello.
Thank you, Viv. Thank you very much.
So Bitten, who are you?
I'm doing great, actually. I had a very good morning. Everything is just perfect, except that I wanted the same weather they have in Greece in June. But that is impossible. No.
It is.
Laughing, but,
yeah.
I want more sun, more warmth. I love living up here outside Hudiksvall, but the climate, I could trade it if I could.
I am 100% agreeing with you, but we are almost around the corner now. Spring is coming. Bitten. So for those who don't know you, would you give yourself a little short introduction to?
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm a nurse. The oldest sister of 7, many siblings. I grew up, in a very normal family here in the country.
Lovely.
Planting trees when I grew up, sort of. No, but nature and all that, and very good food, which I'm very grateful for. Mom only cooked from, natural ingredients. We ate like that. And then I wanted to be a nurse because my best friend's aunt was a nurse and she was really fun. That's what I thought, Well, it wasn't really like that when I started, but I'm a nurse since 1973 and I love internal medicine. I'm terrified of surgery and stitches and blood and all that. That's not my cup of tea. But anyway, so that's what I worked with. I worked as a clinical supervisor, working with staff. And then I was an alcoholic from the first drink when I was 19 in nursing school. I loved alcohol. So there is no misery behind me being an alcoholic. I started drinking because it was fun, and then I was hooked right away. And before that, it was nicotine. I was hooked right away. And before that, it was sugar. And, sugar is the gateway drug. And I started loving sugar when I was 4 or 5 years old. So, it was a very natural development to then go to nicotine. And I only took that. I started smoking to curb appetite so I would lose weight. Haha. And I think a lot of young girls do that because that's what they taught us to do that. The big girls taught us that. Start smoking. And then I started drinking because we were partying and I loved it. So for about 13 years, that was my life, eating sugar, smoking and drinking. And then during those years, I met an American and he was really, he didn't like me drinking like that. So he forced me into treatment. It was horrible. I was totally mad at him. Today, I thank him because that's the best.
How old were you then?
I was 33. So this
33.
was, the 27th of September, 1985 was my first sober day. And then I was in one of U.S. best treatment centers, Capistrano by the Sea in California. And at first I hated it because of my shame and, me in a treatment center. I was so pissed, excuse my French. But see, the staff there was extremely skilled. So me being a nurse, they gave me the scientifics behind, about the dopamine system and the brain. And they even sent me to the university that was next door to learn about the research on dopamine. And that was the way to hook me. And it was like, it's an illness. It's a brain illness. I'm not a bad person.
So no one had told you that before? There wasn't
No. I was, ashamed that I drank too much and made a fool out of myself. So I was hiding and everybody was hiding because that's the way people do today. They think it's a moral flaw or something. They don't understand. People underestimate the drug's effect on the reward center. People want to have a trauma or something bad that happened to you, self-medication, all those, things that I don't believe in today when I know biochemistry in the brain. because it's the drug that hooks us. That's it. So anyway, I got taught that 1985, and I moved back to Sweden 88, and 89, sorry. I tried to start teaching the Swedes about that, but they love the psychosocial woo-woo model, you know, so they didn't listen. They still don't listen, many. But anyway, I started following ASAM, American Society of Addiction Medicine Specialists, which is a society of the best doctors in the world working with this. And I follow them today. I follow their, their definition of what it is. Physical brain illness with physical, psychological, social, and spiritual consequences. Okay,
right.
So I used to call that the method of putting the horse in front of the wagon instead of the opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yep.
And, that the only way to heal is to take away the drug, and to understand that sugar, flour, processed food, sweeteners, ultra-processed food are psychoactive drug on our reward center. But not everybody becomes addicted. Like, that everybody that drinks alcohol will not be an alcoholic. Yeah. We know that for a fact, because everybody doesn't have the same brain. So another thing I love to work with is that we are biochemically unique. We have different fingerprints, different inside.
Yeah.
Anyway, my love for addiction medicine has taken me to where I am today. I love working with that. And I can't think of doing anything else in the world.
Wow.
Just that for a short story.
That's amazing. Oh, are you ready? I was going to ask you the next question. What do you do? But you already told me. So what does a normal day look like for you today?
Well, I work at home. I think I've traveled enough for the rest of my life. I'm not hungry for traveling. Okay. So I usually work on Zoom. I have my office at home, and normal days getting up very early, usually around 5. Having my bulletproof fat coffee, and then meditation for me is knitting. I knit a lot right now, leg warmers and headbands, which is really fun. So I'm knitting, and when I do that, that's my meditation in silence. And after that, I get ready for the day, and I go to my office, which takes less than 10 seconds. Because it's
perfect.
And if I'm not doing any Zoom and interview, I don't put something nice on or no makeup or whatever. I just go and sit down, I check my mail.
Yeah.
I run 2 very intense trainings. One is certification in the sugar diagnostic tool that I developed since 2013. And so people can know if they are addicted or not, which is extremely important, because if you only have harmful use, which is not addiction, you can work with moderation therapy. But if you're addicted, you have to be 100% drug-free, abstinent from drug food. Otherwise, you're going to fail and fail and fail and relapse and get sicker and sicker, because your brain can't tolerate it. That's why, not because you are lazy or character, or nothing to do with that. It's a biochemistry thing.
So many people have a sweet tooth,
Oh yeah.
Lots of friends say they love.
Yeah, sweets are good. Yes.
Yeah. So if you're an adult, how do you know whether you're a sugar addict or just have a sweet tooth? How can you differentiate?
Most people only want to have a sweet tooth. They are terrified of being addicts because they understand deep inside that they have quit this stuff. But I could say that some of the things are that you can quit and go on a diet, but you can't keep quitting. You can't stay stopped. You stop, but you can't stay stopped. So you go back to eating again. Maybe you lost 40 kilo, and then suddenly you start eating again, and 1 year later you gain 50 kilo. So it's a progressive illness going along with this thing. So that is, that's really addiction. And also that your personality and your mood, there are so many symptoms, which I describe in my book, the Sockerbomben 3.0. Anything from low to depressed to suicidal thoughts, actually.
Wow.
And lots of symptoms in between, because the drug rewires and hampers our brain. So we go into something called foggy brain. You're not really with it. You are, your energy level is very fluctuating. So you have good days and really bad days, and good days and bad days. But the issue to look for is if you have loss of control. You can be without, but if you take one bite, you can't stop. Then you start taking bite 2, bite 3, and it starts increasing, eating these products again. It's the same with alcoholism, one drink, bam, off you go. So we have a saying that one bite or drink is too much, and 1,000 will not be enough. Do you see what I mean with the loss of control?
You're just triggering your brains. You just want
Yeah,
more,
right.
more, more,
So
more,
you
more,
get
and
craving,
it's like
you
bottomless.
get more craving,
Yeah.
you get more foggy brain, and you know, I'm probably not an addict. I can have a little bit, or I quit on Monday, I quit after vacation, I quit later, and you keep dragging on. I mean, the clients that I met through the years, they have fought the battle with different diets, not eating this, being vegan, being vegetarian, being fruitarian, being Aryan, eating air. Yeah, that's interesting. Boy, I would love to be a fly on the wall there. But all these things. And they have tried everything. And one thing I want to give a message to people listening, if you think you have an addiction, first of all, I want to tell you, you are among the strongest people ever. You think you're weak, you think you're bad, but wait a minute. If a normal person without addicted, sensitive brain will try all the things you have tried, they would die. And you have survived, and you keep falling down, getting back up, falling down, getting back up. I would say that you have resilience and grits. So if you get the right toolbox, knowledge, are you addicted or not, with the sugar instrument, and you get the right toolbox for that illness, I promise you, you can create a life you never even thought you could. Instead of being trapped in this expert say you should eat this and this one say this. Don't listen to any experts that doesn't have addiction medicine training. And you can say, if I have a gynecological problem, I probably shouldn't go to the orthopedic, right? And that's what people do. They go to psychologists, psychiatrists, nutritionists, dietitians that have no training in addiction. Quit that. Go to the addiction medicine specialist. We know what to do with this illness. We might not be expert on others, but then we refer. But we know certainly what to do with addiction.
So how many years into the addiction has, before they come to you, for instance, how many years of addiction have they had prior to coming to your clinic for help? I mean,
tell you what,
1 year, 10 years?
No. The earliest is 20. Then I have people that have been addicted for 55 years with the wrong toolbox, because the surrounding so-called experts that doesn't know addiction have told them, try this, try eat only on Saturdays, eat fruit instead, eat this, eat blah, 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 but they don't know what addiction is, so they don't have the right toolbox.
And these people that they don't have the right toolbox, are they certified to be a therapist?
Addiction specialist?
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. So people with this problem are desperate for help. So they go to a dietitian without asking, are you trained in and certified in addiction medicine, or a psychologist, or a nutritionist, or blah, blah, blah. They don't know that that's what they need. So they don't ask those questions. So what I'm saying is, if you think you have a problem, go to my website under sugar specialist and call some of those people that are specially trained in diagnosing this problem, and let them help you see, do you have the illness? How bad is it? What consequences do you have? What is the best treatment for you? Right? That's how simple it is, really, but complicated.
And what's your webpage? Do you want to?
Bittensaddiction.com. Bitten with 2 T and S like in Stefan, addiction toward DCTION.com. So
lovely work. You're just such an inspiration, and and in today's world, we are like an addictive world with iPhones and it's sugar and it's all sorts of
Screens,
addictive.
gambling, exercise, you name it. It's all over the place. And being an addictive personality is very much built on genetics. You don't inherit the addiction per se, like you don't inherit being an alcoholic or sugar addict, but you inherit the sensitivity in your reward center to react to psychoactive drugs or processes. So if you are exposed, then it can say boom. And
then it's in like once you exposed it is like full on addiction.
Doesn't have to be. It could progress slow, like any other chronic illness. For some people, it takes quite some time to develop all the consequences. Some people become sick very early. So, sugar is the gateway drug. It is actually before any other outlets like alcohol, pills, nicotine, drugs. It's very connected to screens. So, sugar is the gateway drug, and that is the first drug we give to babies and kids, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, if somebody has a very sensitive reward center, the more sensitive, the faster it goes, the more addicted they can become. So that's what's so scary in a world where, there is drugs everywhere. And you're really right about that. We are constantly exposed today. And we also, one thing that is terrible to me is that, the food industry have scared you for butter, real butter, for red meat, for sunshine, and, salt, which are absolutely so necessary for so many people to regain their health. So I used to joke and say, I'm an oppositor. I do the opposite. I'm out in the sun. I don't burn myself, but I'm out.
We need D vitamin, right?
I don't use sunscreens because that's chemicals, right? But I'm out every day in the sun. I eat salt, good salt, unrefined salt. I eat meat, and I eat butter. Yeah. I eat everything they scared me for because I think that's a smart thing to do, because that's I love what James D. Nicolantonio say in the book Salt Fix. Don't blame salt for what sugar did. So, yeah.
So we were talking about the signs of having the genetics of triggering an addiction.
Yeah.
If you are like a parent, for instance, or you're having your children loving sweets.
Yeah.
How can you tell that they might have the genetics to become an addict? Is there any like early
signs? Because they become very, very angry if you try to take it away. And another thing is that they hide, lie, and sneak with it. They want more than you provide for them. They always want more. I've had many parents tell me through the years when I treated their adult from 18, 19 and up, that, it's strange. I have 3 kids and she never liked real food. She only wanted white food, white bread, porridge, formula, white food, because that's very quick sugar, right? It was hard to give her potatoes and meat or fish or egg or anything in that way. She didn't want that, or cheese or whatever other good stuff they tried, or veggies or whatever. Only white food. And that was the kid out of 3 that became addicted. And also you can see, if your young ones drink and eat a lot of sugar and flour stuff, but you should be aware if they start drinking alcohol or smoking cannabis or anything in that way, because if you start develop sugar addiction early, so you will end up, this is too complicated to talk about here, but we talk about upregulating and downregulating in the brain. Let me put it this way. The drug plays havoc with your neurotransmitters. So you go into something we call drug seeking behavior. You look for other drugs or processes. And we see this, you starve, you binge eat, you exercise excessively. You have all kinds of process addictions because you're trying to control the sugar addiction by dieting, starving, exercising, fasting, and then you lose control and you binge, and then you get frantic and you purge. And you see what I mean? It's a circle, a vicious circle. So if you see that, and then maybe they start drinking or using other drugs. I've had many clients be drug addicts because to curb the intense craving is horrible. It's like having headache. It's like having pain in your hair. That's what one patient said to me. Craving is, you can't think of anything else. You just want that thing.
Like totally obsessed.
Totally obsessed. Yeah, correct. And they have told me that in that, they started cutting themselves, because anxiety was so high, acting out, panicking, anxiety, depression. They got all these kind of weird symptoms because the brain is in total imbalance. The brain and the body is malnutritioned and in total imbalance. So, and then many, as the years go by, in the teenage year, they might restrict and starve, and then they binge and purge. And then suddenly one day, there is no energy left to do that. So they just overeat and become what we call volume eaters. And that's how you can become really huge. You gain a tremendous amount of weight. So you're sort of giving up. And maybe you'll do a little bit of Weight Watchers or a little bit of a new diet or so, so actually, the important thing is to understand too, they have no mental horsepower. So if we say to them, oh, sharp up and start exercising and eat less and blah, 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 that is actually very cruel because the biochemistry is so broken. So you have to understand how the biochemistry is broken, and that you have to start healing them from there. You have to start building the biochemistry with certain food, with breathing exercises, with sleep hygiene, with physical activity in a special way, and with supplements. So those 5 areas is what I call biochemical repair. So it's very important to do biochemical repair, restore mental horsepower before any talk therapy, because you have to have something to do therapy with.
Yeah, so all about prevention as well. Like I'm getting like we should almost talk to the children in school about this, this addictive behavior. And educate.
And the sad thing is that we have a society that is so weight conscious, which is horrible. How you look, and I would like to switch that, and there you can help me. Let's work together to teach children and teenagers about the brain, what a miracle is. It's a universe. How do you care for your brain? What does your brain need? What is the fuel your brain need for you to feel energetic and healthy? I think we have to start there, because sometimes when I've been out in schools, which I do very, very rare, with like teenagers, I see them start listening like, oh my God, when I start talking about the brain, if you start talking weight and body and image, they don't listen. They don't listen whatsoever. But you see them start, oh shit. So, the brain needs certain fuels. Sure does. If you want to have energy. So we have to stop talking feelings and start talking energy.
Everything is energy anyway. So I think.
Yeah, right. So if I were to work with you, instead, is it because you're sad you're eating? I will never ask you that question, because it's silly. Because if you have an eating problem, I can't start there. I would say, oh, wait a minute. If you eat this for breakfast, how's your energy at 11 a.m.? I would check you on energy all the time. How's your energy level at 2? How's your energy level at 4? What did you eat? What did you eat? I would check off so that you start understanding the brain is a hybrid engine, right? So I would start teaching you what kind of fuel it's going to burn smooth on instead of up and down.
So you keep your blood sugar levels even, and hence you can also concentrate and keep your concentration and your focus. I think this is so important to teach the children about, because at
brain.
the end of the day, they want to perform to the max. You know, when you're in school, for example, you need to have energy to focus and concentrate, and also that will, you know, improve the teacher's work. I mean, it must be horrible as a teacher to have hungry children and trying
irritated,
to teach.
angry, sad.
Yeah.
Either they fight or they cry.
That's right.
And that's due to volatile blood sugar, which is a very good terminology to understand and learn the symptoms of.
Yeah, and as a teacher, you're doomed to fail. You know, we should really.
Well, the teacher
this.
might need to eat better too. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. All right, we can have a long discussion about this, but
I know. I think we took the most important. Yeah.
Now, on to something different. What is the biggest fear you have or have faced so far in your life?
To lose the people I love and the animals I love. Yeah. That's today. There is a lot more, you know, you could think about with war and peace and all that, but if you ask me what my biggest fear is to lose my loved ones. Yeah,
I can understand that. So when you look back on your life and other people, how do you want other people to remember your legacy and your work and the massive impact you have done in this life? But how with your own words, would you like to leave the world behind? How do you want others to remember you?
Well, I want them to think of me as somebody that threw something to, what do you call it? The ring that you get when you're in the water fighting, you're almost drowning. You know what I mean? That could do that to people, and to have words of encouragement and hope.
Like a ripple effect?
Yeah, and to give hope. It's never too late, or it's never, there's always something you can do to improve things. I really like to be thought of as somebody that spread knowledge, because I think there's two things: knowledge and support. And, you know, those are my two pillars: to give knowledge to people and to give support. So that's what I hope people can think of, because I say that knowledge gives hope. Hope gives willingness, and willingness is to actually change. It's not sitting at home being willing. Willingness is that you do a change. I used to say, okay, can you eat different breakfast tomorrow? Good, that's a change.
In the first step. So where do you hope we are in 10 years from now?
My hope is that WHO and American Psychiatric Association get their act together and accept that sugar addiction, or food addiction, if they wouldn't call it that, as a diagnose in the diagnosed manuals, ICD-11 and DSM-5, or if it is DSM-6 or 12, ICD-12, in the diagnosed manuals, so that it would be an illness that you can go to the healthcare system and get help. That's something I've fought for years. You know, I've tried to work on that. I don't do that anymore. I don't go out and fight out on the barricades. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I throw starfish in the ocean instead.
And how far have they come with the work, the WHO?
Well,
implementing the sugar addiction is actually an actual disease.
They argue and walk in circles. But, you know, it is confusing with something that is called anorexia, bulimia, overeating, binge eating, disturbed eating disorder, blah, 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 blah. And everybody have different opinion how to treat it, because people don't want to see addiction. So it is still around. Not very far.
Not very far. Okay.
No. But training is taking off. You know, people want knowledge and training, and that's my hope. So the people I've trained, I started teaching professionals 2012 after seeing that I had no colleagues that I could refer my clients to. I had too many clients, which I've done thousands of clients through the years. So I thought, you know, okay, I need colleagues. And now that's what I only do that. I don't take any clients anymore. So 2019, I said no more clients, because now I can refer, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's a big thing. So we are more and more people having knowledge and working in this way to help people. So that's good.
Yeah, and I think like you do, like spreading awareness and spreading knowledge and science and
Yeah, and give hope.
and hope, yeah,
Yeah.
and tools like
Yeah,
become
and also we need to connect the dots with a lot of other sciences, and that's what I did with functional medicine through Peter, molecular medicine. So I included that many years ago. So he's been a very important person in my life. He gave me knowledge that's been incredible valuable. And also now I'm trying to marry and date metabolic health experts because anyone, eating junk food will have a metabolic dysfunction and needs to restore their metabolic health. So that's the next step, to include that in the addiction medicine training. I mean, there is wonderful metabolic specialists out there, but they don't work specifically with addicts. And that's why I include that in my training. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have so much junk foods everywhere as well. So you can literally become addicted to just junk food, although it's not the sugar, but it's so much sugar in junk food. So indirectly.
Well, junk food and sugar to me is sugar, sweeteners, flour is junk food to me, or processed food. It's people want to call it different things, but I like to call it sugars with an S in the end, and mean that whole long ultra processed sweeteners. That's any flour, well, anything with an ingredients list. That's what I mean when I say sugars.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Bitten. You are such an inspiring, delightful person. I'm really pleased that you want to join in and share your expertise with us out there.
We Helsinglänning gotta stick together.
We do. What a coincidence.
Amazing. What a coincidence. I can't believe it. I'm still shocked.
I told you before we started.
10 kilometers apart. It's amazing.
I love your work. Thank you so much. Keep it up and we'll talk soon again.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I hope you got some valuable information today that will help you increase your health and well-being. Thank you for listening and see you next time.